When fishermen in Nicaragua find white lobsters, what are they talking about? Find out after this. In Nicaragua, a white lobster is a floating bale of cocaine that has been tossed overboard by fleeing drug runners. These lobsters are worth more than $100,000 each. I'm in Nicaragua, investigating a mysterious death that the locals believe was caused by an evil spirit. But is there a fish in these waters that could be responsible? And is this what's left of one? It's a bit grisly. If I'm not mistaken, that is a tarpon. I'd say that's a big tarpon.
Well, this was a fish boat. Calculate 200 pounds.
200 pounds. So this big here?
Yeah.
Right. To find tarpon this far inland is surprising, but not unheard of, especially when you consider that the water here is brackish. They are normally found around the coast, and that is where I had my only previous encounter with one, when I was fishing for bull sharks in Florida. Hey! That one got away. But this tendency to jump could explain what I heard that night. And could this be what happened to Felipe? Was he hit by one? Tarpon aren't considered killer fish. They don't have big teeth, spines, or electricity. But they do have huge size and incredible speed. They can swim at up to 25 miles per hour. Just get a sense of the solidity of that head. It's just a solid lump of hard bone, muscle. And that with 100, 150 pounds of force coming behind it. Well, you're going to feel it. In Florida, tarpon are known to occasionally damage boats and injure fishermen trying to bring them in. But I'm not aware of any reliable documented case of a tarpon killing anyone. So are the tarpon here more dangerous? Perhaps bigger or more aggressive? I need to find other fishermen who have encountered these fish to see what they think. It doesn't take me long to come across a witness to another brutal attack.
Yeah, me and Joel went catching shrimps in the night. Well, he jumped fan out the water and hit him with the bill across here.
This tarpon comes out of the water, the head hit the face. So was he then? No, he's standing in the boat?
No, he's sitting down this kind of way.
Yeah.
Spanish, you know. Any party hit you, damage you then, you're gonna kill you, man. This fish grew big, you know. This fish grew up to 500 pounds, 600 pounds. The fish grew where you can't hold him with no kind of rod line, man.
So on a line, even strong line?
You can't hold him, man.
He's saying 500-600 pounds. I mean, that's seriously large. I mean, I'd be amazed if they do really grow that big, but I mean, who knows? 500 pounds is double the size of the biggest tarpon ever caught in Florida. But the stories keep coming. Dayham and another man, they went fishing, and each one reinforces their deadly potential. But when he put his paddle in the water, he touched a fish. They seem to jump at the slightest provocation. He said if his friend wasn't with him that day, he probably would have died. And when hooked, they put up a violent fight. They just told me about someone had his head split open, he's got a scar across his forehead.
To feel this skull.
But if your friend hadn't been there, what?
I would be a dead man.
You think?
Time he get manish.
They said this fish, manish, crazy. This is a crazy fish. This is a dangerous fish. Tarpon are well-documented game fish, but these violent testimonies are unlike any I've heard before. I need to catch one for myself to see if these Nicaraguan fish are somehow different. So I approach some fishermen I spot out on the river to find out how best to tackle this beast. Hello. Did anybody here, anybody catch tarpon? He tells me that although they occasionally hook tarpon, they don't target the fish as they are too dangerous to bring in. But apparently there's one man who does fish for them.
The white boy catch tarpon, plenty tarpon.
White boy?
White boy, yeah.
Right, that's interesting. Who catches tarpon? He says that there's somebody comes from outside, a white guy. He catches them. Not Mosquito Man, but...
Mosquito Man, white
right.
boy.
Sounds like he knows something I don't, so that's something I need to talk to if I can find him. Apparently this fisherman has a camp way upstream. But a storm is closing in, so we speed through the rain to outrun it. We're miles from civilization, and I've no idea who I'm about to meet. But he may hold the secret to catching this elusive monster fish. I came to Nicaragua to investigate the unexplained death of a fisherman, and now I'm on a mission to catch his likely killer, the tarpon. I've been directed to the remote campsite of a foreign fisherman who has made a name for himself among the locals. He dares to catch what sound like the largest, strongest, most dangerous tarpon on the planet. He's a German named Daniel Goes, and like me, he's dedicated his life to catching river monsters.
I came here like more than 10 years ago and looking for good fishing spots.
Eventually, he found some giants that no one knew about. Massive, elusive tarpon.
To better understand the tarpon took me quite a while. It took me many years, actually.
But catching them required a radical new method.
And over the years, we changed the approach totally, and we brought float tubes.
Right.
And it's just one huge air bladder. I'm sitting in it, have my feet dangling in the water, and the fish do not recognize me.
My boat's engine was disturbing the fish, but Daniel's raft allows him to sneak up low in the water, silent and undetected. My rubber lure was also the wrong choice.
Tarpon, even though it grows very big, has this habit to eat very small prey. You can present a fly or a streamer that is fairly small, and fly fishing is just the perfect approach to do so.
Fly fishing from what looks like a swimming pool raft might be his proven way to hook a tarpon, but without a sturdy boat around me, I'm an open target. But when it actually takes your fly...
It's gonna go crazy and gonna go totally berserk after the hookup. There's absolutely no way to control it. The head is like concrete, basically. So you don't want to get hit by a tarpon that is jumping towards you or is totally green. That would be definitely dangerous.
It sounds like these tarpon might be bigger and badder than their Floridian counterparts. But now, it's time to find out if what I'm hearing is true. I have some experience fly fishing, but I'm no expert. Right. And doing it from a raft is going to be like learning my craft over again. It actually feels quite nice. I've fished in very small wooden boats before, but it's the first time I've had my feet dangling out the bottom. Is there going to be anything down there that might grab my feet? These foot-propelled rafts are more commonly used for catching fish that weigh just a few pounds. No one dares to catch tarpon this way, except Daniel Goes. And now, me. Sit up. Get myself aligned. Roll, isn't it, first? Oh, yeah. But before I can give it a go, I have to perfect the basics. Let's try that again. In just a few days, I'm going to try to master what Daniel has spent 10 years perfecting. No. And I've a lot to learn before I'm ready to face a giant. Generally, fly casting, if it's hard work, you're doing it wrong. It's all about economy, it's all about timing. Getting the hang of navigating and casting at the same time. Oh, against the stop, that's the first time. Over the next few days, Daniel and I spend hours out on the water, honing my technique. After nightfall, when the remote rivers are too dangerous to fish, Daniel and I prepare our fishing gear for the next day and discuss tactics. And piece by piece, it starts to come together. Finally, Daniel thinks I'm ready to go into battle. I have to admit I'm feeling somewhat daunted at the prospect of being attached to this fish. I actually have to set the hook using my hand. The rod doesn't have enough power. And then when it takes off, I'm actually hanging onto that line as well to provide resistance. That's why I need a second layer of skin. Daniel takes me to a secret location, which he believes holds the giants I'm after. But he warns me that my technique will have to be perfect. Because in this place, there's no room for error. We're going fishing in a creek now. This is really, really close quarters. I mean, it's very narrow. Maybe 6, 8, 10 feet deep, but apparently there's very big fish in here. With so little space in this creek, if I do hook into a tarpon and it jumps, there's a good chance I could be hit. So it's a very calm and tranquil scene now, but it could potentially get very explosive very soon. And then, the moment I've been waiting for. Fish on! Fish on! I'm deep in the remote, watery jungles of Nicaragua. And after days spent learning how to fly fish from a foot-powered raft, I've finally hooked into a monster. I believe these tarpon are potentially the biggest and most dangerous of their kind. And this one is proving me right. Ah! That smashed my knuckles. Ah! This secret location is only known by my guide, Daniel. So if I'm hit by this living missile, then I'll be in serious trouble. The battle enters a new phase of close combat, but it's still far from over. This is physical, physical, physical. Big fish on a strong line, but it's just very tiring with the feet as well. Big tail, big tail. Using all my strength, I'm trying to tire it out so I can start to bring it closer. But this giant fish seems to be taking the upper hand. It's swimming circles around me while I get more exhausted. This is a long, long, long protracted struggle for me and the fish. We're both having to fin and just getting more and more exhausted. A grueling hour passes. I'm struggling to maneuver quickly enough to defeat its tactics. And this fish shows no sign of throwing in the towel. Then, at last, I begin to take the upper hand. When fly fishing like this, you have to grab the last few feet of line to take control of the fish, or the rod will snap. But if I thought this fish's fight was over, I was wrong.
I've got a light line round my fingers here.
This fish must be well over 100 pounds. And I finally have it on the ropes, ready to submit.
Okay, it's quite a light hook hold. Trying to get that hook out. Oh! Oh! Not quite, not quite, not quite, not quite. So close. Had my hands in its mouth. And it just spun. I did everything right up until the last moment, but that just isn't, that's not good enough. 1 second, 2 seconds, just not good enough.
I'm exhausted. I can do no more but head back to camp. Though I've lost this one, I've come too far to give up now. I'll go back out in the morning. But I didn't anticipate the weather intervening in this fight.
This has just been going on and on. If anything, the intensity is cranking up, and that's not looking good at all. And what I'm hoping is that when this stops, there will still be enough daylight to get out there.
Finally, the rain stops. But I have just an hour or two left before it gets dark. So I'm back out there, fishing another spot that Daniel believes is a tarpon hunting ground. I just hope I'm lucky to land a fish before nightfall. These remote waters are highways for drug smugglers. This is no place to be in a raft after dark.
Ooh, one of the best yet.
But time is not on my side. I keep casting, but nothing takes, and darkness is closing in.
Oh, yes.
I can barely believe my eyes. A school of tarpon is on the hunt,
Wow.
chasing mullet out of the water.
Ah, that's a feeding fish, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm hoping to glide into casting range without being noticed.
something, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, it might be off. No, still there. Gosh, the line is going in the water nowhere near the fish.
The fish I've hooked is running at phenomenal speed back and forth across the river. And it looks like it's taken my line around a branch. It's getting difficult to see. If I can't free the line quickly, I'll lose this fish.
Oh, there's all sorts of stuff here. Okay, I need to get myself through there. I've got to get underneath this branch. Oh, I'm stuck. Stuck. I'm stuck on the branch.
I'm on a remote waterway in Nicaragua.
Yeah.
And I've hooked into a monster tarpon. But the fish is running at high speed and has snagged my line under a fallen tree.
I'm stuck on the branch. That's it. Yeah.
My hook hold must be good as the fish is still on. But I can barely see in the fading light.
Large fish on here. Very large. Maybe 150 pounds plus.
This fish is bigger than the one that got away, so I'm going to take every precaution. With my last ounce of energy, I heave it in close, and then, only once it's fully in my control, do I take the hook out.
Right. Two of us can hardly lift this thing out of the water, but this thing on the end of my line just flung itself several feet clear 2, 3, 4 times. I just lost count.
To catch such a large tarpon this far upriver is rare, and the violence of their fight is unlike anything I've experienced. When you think that the locals are fishing these same enclosed creeks, at night and in tiny dugouts that put them directly in the path of this killer torpedo, it's no wonder these tarpon are taking people out. In some cases, like Felipe, before they have time to scream for help.
And it just has to be the fish that's responsible for those stories, knocking people unconscious, and then it sounds like also knocking them out of their boat so they're never seen again. This thing, the weight of me flying through the air, you know, if that connects with you, I mean, that could be it. But just what an amazing fish. A real river monster.